space, the final frontier. These are the voyages of the starship Enterprise. Its 5-year mission, to explore strange new worlds, to seek out new life and new civilization, to boldly go where no man has gone before.
Hi and welcome back. I just wanted in this episode to go over some of the electronics I'm going to be using, because I mentioned last time the lights I wanted, so I just wanted to give an idea of the equipment I'll be using to get the effects I want. So breadboards, can't do without them for practicing circuits. Everything's going to be programmed using the Arduino Uno. The Arduino Uno runs at 5 volts or 3.5 volts, so the entire circuit is going to be based to run at roughly 5 volts. I mentioned the motors I want. I've been looking on eBay, and micro geared motors are 6 volts, so running on 5 volts will be perfect. I've already got my power supply sorted out for the finished model. That's converter, and this will convert straight away to 5 volts from the mains. So it just hooks in. An old USB charger. Everyone has loads of these because of all the mobile phones we get nowadays. So that will just plug straight in, and I'm guaranteed 5 volts power coming through. So that's the first thing we've got sorted. The finished model's not going to actually have the Arduino in it. I'm going to be using these. These are 18 mega 328s, and the 18 mega 328 is that part on the Arduino Uno, and that's basically the brains of the Arduino. So all the rest of this is just power coming in, outlet pins and input pins, and something to convert the code on to write it onto here. So once I have a sketch written, I can just transfer it straight to, using the Arduino itself to transfer straight to the chips. So I'm going to use them. These are about £1 each. These are about £89 each. So instead of locking one of these up in every model, lock 1 or 2 of them up in every model. I also have, if I remember rightly, this is the AT Mini 85, and this runs a lot less functions than the 18 mega, but it works in exactly the same way and is programmable in the same way. So my slight warp effect I want will probably run off that. I've got a sound card because I'm thinking of putting some sound effects on. These just run off an SD card, the same as what you put in your mobile phone. To write one, you need a multifunction USB card reader, so that just plugs straight into your laptop. The SD card plugs into there, and your code obviously just from your laptop printed onto your SD card then. That runs off the Arduino as well. Lots of different coloured wire. One colour obviously for the negative going back from everything, but the various circuits I'll do in separate colours so it's easier to identify. I think I'm going to have 4 or 5 different circuits running on this. Obviously selection of LEDs, 5 and 3 mils, and I've got 5 different colours at hand. I've also got some RGB colour changing LEDs. These are programmable, and I think with how you can vary it, it's hundreds of different colours you can make from one of these. but I'm not sure if I'm going to use them. I bought these ages ago, and basically these are a little kit to do strobe effect, but it's going to be easier to actually just program the Arduino to do the sound, to do the strobe effects, so I don't think I'm going to use them. I've got rocker switches for on off, and these that light up, I like it, so I like these. I like lights. I've got momentary switches, so if I want an effect I could just turn it on or off. So I probably have the concept thing, parts of the nacelles on the momentary switch. What other equipment have we got? We've got these, which are handy, connection rods or connection wires. So as we're building up the circuit that we're actually going to use, you can build it on the breadboard. These cables are long enough to stretch through the stand quite easily, and I've decided I think I'm going to be using the actual stand instead of messing about. But you then have these that can connect onto the solder onto the normal wire, and you've immediately got a very tight connection, but you can pull it apart in case I need to do maintenance at any time. So I'll probably be using these coming from the circuit on the breadboard, and the main wiring on little sockets. I've prepared 4 slides to give a better idea of where all the different LEDs and light effects are going. So let's have a watch of them now, and then once we've watched them I will show you what this is, because I'm sure you've noticed it at the back of my desk. Okay, so enjoy these slides and I'll be back with you shortly. Here on the starboard view, you can see just above the shuttle bay the large sensor dome, and then 3 more small LEDs for the sensors. Roughly halfway between the back of the shuttle bay door and the back of the nacelle strut, there's a strobe that'll be going. As we move onto the nacelles, on the top of the nacelles at the rear we'll have both nav lights, and also the front will have the strobes. We're going to have the inside of the nacelles cut away for blue LED to simulate the warp. The nacelles will have a clear orange dome over the front. The inner dome is then going to be on a small motor rotating, and then there'll be I'm thinking 4 LEDs on a chaser circuit as well, so it should give a really accurate representation of the effects you see on the TV show. As we look from the dorsal view, we get a better idea of where the sensors are going to be placed above the shuttle bay, a better idea where the nav lights and the strobes are going to be placed on the nacelles. You can also see I've put in the port and starboard nav lights, and there's also a second light right at the edge of the saucer to go with both. There's also 2 red LEDs I've marked on that are on the side of the bridge on the B deck. As we look at the ventral view, all I've actually got extra here is the 2 strobes which are directly below the nav lights on the saucer, the sensor dome, which will be just one large light. I'm not sure how I'm going to do it yet. It's not on here, but I've been watching a guy on YouTube, Fantastic Plastic Models, and he's lit softly the domes at the back of the nacelles. And I've seen what he's done, and I really like the looks. I think I'm going to include that as well. As we look at the forward and aft view, on the forward view there's nothing new. It just gives a better idea of where I'm going to place some of the lights, and some of the lights for the Bussard collector especially. On the aft view, the impulse deck is going to be lit up, and also the little lights at the back of the shuttle bay. I don't know how I'm going to do them yet at this tiny scale, but I am. So here we can see a mock-up of the nacelle lights in operation. I'll probably keep actually with this speed. I'm quite happy with the sketch. I've put the ping pong balls over. Anybody who's ever shot a video with LEDs will know that some of them can just go so bright you can't tell what's going on. Ping pong balls just diffuse it. Will give a nice idea. They're going in that direction. They're going in that direction, which is what we see on the nacelles. It's all on Arduino. This isn't connected to my laptop. This is just plugged straight into the mains. Just shows how easy it is. Once I have everything done, I will share the entire sketch for all of the electronics in this build. Obviously it's not ready yet because there's a lot to do. I may just put the sketch just for this nacelle light, because I think it's quite cool what the effect it does. I'm going to be working on different sketches for the next while, trying to get different effects sorted out that I want. But I think for now, this episode, I've given a good idea of what we're going to be using for the electronics, how some of the effects are going to look. So it gives an idea. So for now, thanks for watching, and see you next time. Keep trekking and keep modelling. Thank you.